welcome. I want to talk about my entire school existence. So, preschool. Preschool me was not shy. I don't know, I think I was friends with like everybody at that point because in that stage of life, like, the more friends you got, the better life is. For kindergarten, I had Miss Turner, and bless her heart, she put up with me. I would not take naps. I do remember punching some kid because he stole my animal crackers and my crayons. First grade, I also started Girl Scouts. I was in troop 193. Those girls became my family throughout the years. So my first grade teacher was Ms. Menard. She was a really nice teacher. She gave me crayons. By second grade, I was best friends with the assistant principal, and I was friends with the principal. I was eventually put in a point system, and it went from red to green. First, I got all red, which is bad, and then I started to do some yellows, and then I got some orange, and green. Towards the end of second grade, I was getting mostly yellow and green. But at the end of the day, I would collect points for all the green that I got. And at the end of the month, if I had enough, or even at the end of the week, I would pick out from the toy box, and I always picked chocolate. Third grade, I began third grade on that same point system. I had Miss Thomas as a teacher. She was old and super nice. In the middle of third grade, I was asked by the teacher that ran that good behavior program if I'd like to volunteer at the end of the day to go down and help the younger kids and the special needs kids pick out their toys and just tally stuff up and just kind of like help out. And I did. Fourth grade, I had Miss Morton. Fun fact, my next door neighbor and best friend growing up also had Miss Morton for fourth grade. In fourth grade, there was also a grandmother, like an adopted grandmother sort of thing, program with our school, and Miss Morton had a grandmother, and her name was Grammy Ellis. And oh my god, or Ellie, Grammy Ellie, I think, or Ellis, something like that. She was the best. She taught me how to make applesauce, which I don't know how to make anymore. She taught me how to make a dream catcher, which I don't know how to make anymore. And she was just super nice. She would help me read because I was a slow reader. I still am. And she taught me that I needed glasses. She was super sweet. In fifth grade, I was still in choir, but I also joined orchestra for a month to play viola. I hated that instrument, but I learned how to play one note, and then I couldn't afford playing the instrument, and I couldn't afford orchestra in general, so I quit. Miss Moore was super nice. She was new that year. Miss Butler was the one that I pretty much always went to. At the end of the day, Miss Butler was funny. Oh my god. And she would give me candy. So, like, how could you not pass up candy? I also did the DARE program with my school, and I passed that somehow. And then we went on a class trip for passing the DARE program by going into a camp, learning how to canoe, kayak, and swim, and eat. I fell out of the kayak. I didn't dare go in a canoe, and I ate a lot that day. Sixth grade, for the first month and a half, I was in Wyndham, and I went to Wyndham Middle School for sixth grade. I had Miss Von Carr, I believe was her name, and a few other teachers. She was super nice. After I had moved, I had gotten she had shipped me a book, and in the book was all of the signatures that were on the team that I was on. I think there were teams or colors or something. So I do thank her. The rest of sixth grade, I moved to Auburn, Maine, which is where I just bloomed. I hello, life. Directed to the elementary school that was closest to us, which was Washburn Elementary School. 6th grade, I had Miss Springer and Miss Lestage. They were super nice. I did eventually go back and visit Miss Springer. Lestage moved on to another school. I made best friends with the secretary at Washburn Elementary School. For 7th grade, I went to Auburn Middle School, and I was on Team Katahdin. 7th grade was Mr. Burnham for math. I didn't have her, but Miss O'Neill was on the team. Miss Palmer. Miss Palmer was my science teacher in 7th grade, and she was so nice. Like the start of 7th grade, I hated her for some odd reason, and I regret it. Like, let me tell you, I regret, straying away from her. She was also my homeroom in the morning and in the afternoon. So I did gain to like her. And she actually became a really good person to talk to. And then I had Miss Wanzer, so I saved the best for last, really. Miss Wanzer was pretty much my go-to if I needed to talk about anything, from home life to school to anything. Also, 7th grade. I also had a teacher. I had a few. I had extra teachers, basically, extra subjects. I had Miss LeCompte for home ec. I had Miss Shell and Mr. whatever for shop. I had Miss Abbott for digital literacy. 7th grade, I came out as trans. Editing Marcus is back. I highly recommend, and that is Stone Butch Blues by Leslie Feinberg. Absolutely amazing. Kind of hints at the Stonewall riots, and it hints at a lot of LGBTQ plus history, and it is amazing. 8th grade, I was on Team Katahdin still, except for teachers changed. Miss Wanzer was still there. Mr. Burnham had left. So instead we had Mr. Goldsmith, who was our math. We had Miss O'Neill. She was still there. And for our science, we had Ms. Marcotte. I thank her. She had taught me a lot, not only in school, but just a positive outlook on life. So 8th grade wasn't really anything special. I had my legal name change in November of my 8th grade. Dyed my hair pink. I had a hospitalization, and that's when I first got on meds. I do want to thank Miss Wanzer and Miss Palmer and Miss Abbott and Miss Bagley or Miss Knights just for being there for me to talk. Also Miss Grealish, but specifically those teachers don't get enough appreciation. 8th grade was very, very depressed emo stage. 9th grade, I went into the big high school. 9th grade, I only had a half a year. The second half of my freshman year in high school was a shit show. I was not in school. Had lots of hospitalization. My homeroom was Miss Hinckley and Miss Johnson, and one of my teachers, Mr. Maris, he was my physical science teacher, and he put up with me and my friend Courtney. He's put up with us for the past 4 years. Who am I kidding? Hydrick also saved me, basically. She let me talk to her. Sophomore year, the first half of sophomore year, I was in a residential treatment home, basically. Throughout the summer, and end of freshman year, I was in Saco, Maine, and I had gotten there at their crisis unit. I met lots of staff who were very helpful. So Kelly, she helped me a lot. She would listen to me rant and rave and be an idiot. I threw shoes at her. I had boots on. No, I didn't have boots. I had like sneakers on, and she was like, "You need to take those off. You're on safety because you're not fucking going outside." And I was like, "Listen, bitch." And I called her so many fucking names, and somehow she still came back and she still helped me with my mental breakdowns. Jessie, I would write notes to her because not like love notes, like actual serious, like this is what's going on with me. I don't know how to voice it. So here you go. And she would help me through a lot. So there's some people I want to thank. Tanisha is also one of them. There are probably more people that I'm forgetting, but those were the main people. Steve was one of them for the second time around. 10th grade. 10th grade, let me tell you, was a shit show. The first half of 10th grade, I was at Thornton Academy in Saco. Best experience of my life. I want to thank Mr. Colmar, Senora Davis, and then also Smurray. So Miss Murray. After that, after January, I went back to Auburn and I went back to Edward Little, and that didn't last very long. I was in the hospital and out of school. I went to the ER. I retained a concussion and fractured ribs. And my first half of junior year, I was at the crisis unit. I met a few new people. So, editing Marcus Beck. People that I want to thank from the crisis unit the second time around, the new people. Steve, definitely, I started talking to him more. The newer gen, Sydney, Kaylin, Juliet. My junior year, the first week of my junior year, I went to Franklin Alternative School in Auburn, which is just like a smaller school. It sounds like it's for bad kids, but it's really not. They are actually super nice people. So, and then for the rest of my junior year, until the last quarter, I like to thank Miss McLeod, who worked with me through everything. Both Mr. Morris's, even though one kind of creeped me out, both Mr. Morris's. I would like to thank Miss Saunders, who put up with my shenanigans and all of my bullshit throughout class. Miss La Liberty, who actually helped me calm down from multiple panic attacks. Miss Og, who opened up her room for me to just go do art and learn art during a lunch period. Miss Morin, Mr. JP, and then Mr. Barlow. He was the principal. He is the principal. Super nice guy. He really makes every one of the students feel like they're not a number in that school, and the teachers do too. Every single one of them. I didn't feel like a number in that school, and it was the best feeling in the world for me. The last quarter, I had to drop out. I had to move. I moved to Florida. In June, I started the first semester that I needed to take to receive my GED at Flagler Technical Institute. And so that's pretty much wrapping up my senior year. So, as you could see throughout this video, my life hasn't been all shits and giggles. It hasn't been all positive vibes. I want to thank all of the teachers who I have met. I know that each teacher that I've encountered is doing it because they want to, and they want to change the minds of youth. They want to educate, they want to inform, and they just want to better somebody's life. You all have played a part in who I am today, and I couldn't thank you enough. So peace, love, and happiness. Stay true, stay you.